I never thought I'd be standing in my own driveway watching the HOA president get dragged away in handcuffs, neighbors cheering under their breath while recording the whole thing. That wasn't some distant fantasy. It was the end of a nightmare that started with her parking her car in my driveway, escalated into spike strips bolted into the gravel, and ended with her stealing my truck. If you think HOA drama is just about fines for tall grass or trash cans, let me tell you, you haven't met Karen. It was a regular Tuesday. Nothing special. I'd just come home from work, pulled up to the curb in front of my house, and froze. There was a car sitting in my driveway. Not broken down, not abandoned, not some clunker that limped its way to a stop. No, it was a clean, shiny sedan parked neatly like it belonged there. At first I thought maybe I was seeing things, or maybe a guest from across the street had gotten confused. I walked over slowly, half expecting a note on the windshield. Nothing. Just metal and arrogance sitting on my property. I went to knock on a couple doors and one of my neighbors leaned in close and whispered like it was classified information. "That's Karen's car." My blood boiled instantly. Karen, the self-proclaimed queen of the HOA. She'd fined me for leaving my trash cans out overnight, tried to penalize me for painting my shutters the wrong shade of brown, even sent me warnings for a damn bird bath in my yard. I'd ignored every one of her notices, never paid a cent. And now she'd gone a step further, claiming my driveway. So I marched over to her place, and I didn't bother hiding my footsteps on her porch. She opened the door like she already knew why I was there, smirking like she had the upper hand. "Yes?" she asked, voice dripping with fake sugar. I jabbed a finger toward my driveway. "Is that your car?" She didn't even bother with words at first, just a smirk, an eyebrow raised that screamed, "And what are you going to do about it?" I told her to move it. Her grin spread. "My driveway's full. I have company. Where else was I supposed to park? Besides, your driveway isn't really yours. It's community access. HOA jurisdiction." I couldn't help but laugh out loud. The audacity. "You've got until noon tomorrow. Move it or it won't be pretty." And I walked off before she could sling more nonsense. By the time I came home that night, her car was gone. I thought maybe, just maybe, she'd back down. Spoiler alert, she hadn't. The very next day I pulled up after work, stepped out of my truck, and froze again. My driveway had turned into something out of a police chase. Lined up across the gravel were steel spike strips bolted down, gleaming in the evening sun like teeth ready to rip through rubber. For a second I genuinely thought I was hallucinating. Who does that? Who turns a neighbor's driveway into a booby trap? I stormed to the mailbox, and sure enough, it was crammed with her official notices. According to Karen, my private driveway had been reclassified as community property under HOA control. She'd stuffed the box with pages of fabricated authority, like paperwork could erase the fact that the deed was in my name. I carried the stack inside, dropped it on the table, and just stared at it. For the first time, I felt like I was losing. I sat there thinking maybe she's right. Maybe she's got some technicality I don't know about. Maybe I'd get dragged into court and lose my own driveway. My stomach twisted at the thought of it. A small part of me wanted to just give up. Let her win. Move my truck to the curb permanently and keep my head down. That thought lasted about a minute until I pictured myself rolling into my own driveway and shredding my tires on her steel teeth. That was the breaking point. This wasn't about HOA rules anymore. This was destruction of property. This was dangerous. And if I let her win once, she'd keep taking. So I pulled out my phone. I took photos from every angle, recorded videos, documented each bolt. I stacked her bogus letters next to the evidence like trophies. Then I called my lawyer, Matt. He looked over everything and just shook his head, grinning. "She's in way over her head. This isn't an HOA violation. This is vandalism, reckless endangerment, maybe even criminal mischief. Trust me, we'll make her regret this." Hearing him laugh gave me back the confidence I'd almost lost. That same night, an official legal letter landed on Karen's doorstep. By the next afternoon, I was sipping coffee on my porch while watching her red-faced, grunting and swearing under her breath as she struggled to pry the spikes back out of the gravel with a crowbar. She wouldn't even look at me. For a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But Karen wasn't done. Karen never stops. A few days later, I walked outside and my heart nearly stopped. My truck was gone, just an empty driveway staring back at me. Panic set in instantly. I tore into the house, pulled up my security cameras, and there it was, clear as day. Karen, arms crossed, smug grin plastered on her face, standing beside a tow truck in the middle of the night as they hauled away my vehicle. She looked proud of herself, like she'd finally won. That was the final straw. She hadn't just harassed me, she had committed theft. I called the sheriff, hands shaking, and when the deputy showed up, I shoved my phone at him, replaying the footage. He didn't hesitate for a second. "Let's go get your truck." We drove straight to the impound lot, and when the operator saw the footage, his face went pale. He tossed me the keys, muttering, "Take it, no charge. I don't want to be part of this." Even he knew Karen had crossed a line too far. With my truck back under me, the deputy and I drove straight to her house. She opened the door like she always did, smirk-ready eyes smug, acting like she owned the world. I didn't say a word. I just tapped my phone, hit play, and let the video speak. Her face drained of all color, like the blood had vanished in an instant. "Karen," the deputy said flatly, "you're under arrest for vehicle theft." Her composure shattered. She screeched about HOA bylaws, about her so-called authority, waving her hands like she could rewrite reality on the spot. But the cuffs clicked shut, metal against bone, and her protests turned into shrill nonsense. Neighbors came pouring out of their houses, phones up, recording every second. The self-proclaimed queen of the HOA, the woman who had tormented the whole block, was marched down her own front steps and shoved into a squad car. It was poetic justice. Within a week, she was stripped of her HOA title, banned from community leadership, and facing charges that no smug smile could erase. The same people who used to bite their tongues around her were laughing behind her back now. Her reign was over. And me, I got my peace back. I sat on my porch one evening with a cold beer, watching the sun set over my driveway. No spike strips, no stolen truck, no HOA tyrant hovering over me. Just silence, finally. Karen wanted control. What she got instead were handcuffs. Lesson bullies only get away with it if you let them.